Right guys, so let's start on with today's session. In the previous class, we had understood the concept of direct speech and indirect speech, right? We'll quickly again go through the various rules and concepts which we understood in the last class, right? And then we'll move on to the practical exercise, right? So let us first start on with what do we mean by direct speech and what do we mean by indirect speech. By direct speech, we mean that if something is quoted in the exact words of the speaker, that will be known as the direct speech, right? So quoting what has been said by the speaker in the exact words spoken by the speaker is known as the direct speech. Whereas when we, let's say, try to redraft or maybe speak it out in our language, right, that will be known as indirect speech. So if we talk about direct speech, it is reporting the exact words spoken by the speaker, that is quoting the actual words spoken by the speaker. Whereas in indirect speech, we report it in our own words, right? We redraft it, we don't quote the exact words or sentences which were used by the speaker. We took an example as Megha said, I am busy now, right? So this is known as direct speech, and when I have already told you that we use quotes, right? When we are stating a direct speech, this quote indicate that these were the exact words which were spoken by the speaker. Whereas when we talk about indirect speech, we would say Megha said that. This is normally used in most of the sentences while we do indirect speech, that Megha said that she was busy then. So basically this now has changed to then and am has changed to what was, right? So this is how we do indirect speech. We looked at various rules, right? We understood that there are various rules in terms of when we try to convert a direct speech into indirect speech. So we'll quickly go through these rules. In the previous session, we had looked at it in detail, but before we start on with the practical exercise, we'll again go through them so that these rules are fresh in our mind and we are able to apply it while we are doing our practical exercise, right? So let's start on rule number 1. See, when we had seen in rule number 1 that in most of the cases, the rule applies that the present tense would change into past tense, right? So most of the, let's say, verbal tense of the present will change to the verbal tense of the past. For example, please keep this in mind because we have to use it in most of the sentences, right? When we are converting the direct speech into indirect speech, right? Simple present, right? Simple present will get changed into simple past. See, when do we use simple present? When we are talking about habitual behavior, right? When we are talking about habitual behavior, we talk in simple present tense, like I always drink coffee, she said. And when we convert it into indirect speech, right, this drink will get converted into drank, which is the simple past tense. Then present continuous, am reading, right? Present continuous, which is am reading, gets converted into was reading, which is past continuous. So am is a present thing and was becomes the past. Then present perfect. Present perfect basically denotes something which has already been done or already been achieved. This present perfect will change into past perfect. She said that she has finished. Here, if we do indirect, we will say had finished. Please remember that has in the direct, right? Has in the direct will change to had in the indirect sentence. Please remember this, right? Then, another important situation which we should keep in mind, that present perfect continuous will change to past perfect continuous. So basically, have been will change to had been. Please remember this. Have in the direct speech gets converted into had in the indirect speech. You need to keep these rules in mind when we are converting direct speech into indirect speech. Then simple past will change to past perfect. Basically, Bill arrived on Saturday, right? If we take it to past perfect, we'll say had arrived on Saturday. So we're using a had. Another important scenario, Past perfect will not change. It will remain in past perfect. Right? Had just turned will remain had just turned. So had, which is in the past tense, right? This verbal tense does not change. Future will change into present. So will be, right? Will be. Future is something which will be done in future, right? Will, shall, right? These are all future tenses. This will change into present conditional, which is basically would be. Now, those who do not know about the conditional tense, I will just give you a brief on conditional tense. Basically, conditional tense talk about a speculation as to what could happen, right? These conditional tenses, right? These conditional tenses talk about what could happen in future. Right, so basically if we look at this sentence, I will be in Geneva on Monday, he said. So this is a direct speech and it is in future tense. Right, we'll convert it into indirect speech. We'll say he said that he would be. Basically will get converted into would. Right, he would be in Geneva on Monday. Similarly, future continuous will get converted to conditional continuous, right? Will be using. So this is future continuous. Will be using, right? This will become conditional continuous, which will be would be using. So these rules are absolutely important to keep in mind, right? While we are doing the practical exercise, please keep these in mind. And while doing practical exercise also, we'll do it in much detail. We'll try to relate that the direct speech is in which tense and what has to be the conversion when we are doing the indirect tense, let's say indirect speech. Then rule number 2. Please remember that if the reported speech is a universal fact, if the direct speech is a universal fact or a scientific truth, then you don't need to do any change, right? Then you don't need to do any change in the tense of the reported speech or the direct speech, right? Does not change. The verb does not change. For example, we have taken the examples, right? We sort of redoing the entire exercise. Basic purpose is that we should be able to apply these rules, right? We should be able to apply these rules while we are doing the conversions. He said that honesty is the best policy. So basically it's a universal truth that honesty is the best policy. So while we are doing it into indirect speech, we'll say he said that, but there will be no change in the direct speech sentence. So we'll just state honesty is the best policy. Again, the teacher said earth revolves round the sun, which is a scientific truth, right? So then the indirect speech will be teacher said that the earth revolves round the sun. So there is no change in the direct speech. What was the direct speech remains the same in the indirect speech as well. So in case of universal truth or scientific truth, right, the tense of the direct speech will not change. Then the third rule, if the statement is still relevant, you can, let's say, keep it in the same tense as that of the direct speech, or you may choose to change the tense. For example, Sheila said French is easy to learn. Sheila said that is basically the helping verb that we use to convert into indirect speech. French is easy to learn or French was easy to learn. Now that is the option which we have. Why? The reason being that the statement is still relevant. What is being said still remains true or holds true. Then, if the reported verb is in past tense, is in present tense, the reported verb basically this. In the direct speech, you would normally see he said, which is basically in the past. This will denote past, and when he say he says, this is reported verb in the present tense. So if the reported verb is in present tense, basically says that we are referring to, the tense of the direct speech will not change. So basically, I like classical music. In the indirect speech also we will say, he says he likes classical music. So the tense of the direct speech does not change. So there are two circumstances, right? Answer to this question in the chat. There are two circumstances under which the tense of the reported speech or the direct speech does not change. What are the two circumstances? Quickly put it in the chat. I want to see in the chat what are the two circumstances till now that we have seen under which the tense of the direct speech or the reported speech does not change. We have covered these two circumstances. Quickly put it in the chat. When do or under what circumstances the tense of the direct speech does not change? Antik has said universal truth. Okay, but there are two circumstances. Very good, Krishik. Universal fact or scientific truth, and reported verb is in present tense. Very good. You can keep a note of this, right, in your notepad. Please note this down. Under two circumstances, the tense of the direct speech does not change, means the words which are there under the quote will remain the same while we are converting it into the indirect speech. The two circumstances are, most of you have said it correctly, when we are converting a direct speech which is either a universal truth or a scientific fact, or the reported speech is in present tense. When he said he says or she says, in those two circumstances, right, in these two circumstances, universal fact or scientific truth, or when the verb of the reported speech is in present tense, he says or she says, the tense of the direct speech does not change. We'll, let's say, copy paste the reported speech, the sentence under the quote as it is. Another example which we'll see is, Rohit says, I watched a movie at night. Again, we'll keep it same. We'll say Rohit says, I is basically changing to he, right? We will see the rules in relation to the pronouns. I will change to he. I watched the movie at night. Rohit says he watched the movie at night. So the tense of the direct speech does not change. Very good. Most of you have said the right answer. But see, again, it's an humble request to all of you, right? All of you who are in the session, right? Please type your answer in the chat. If some people type it and others don't type it, right, I do not understand whether the others are understanding or not, right? Please make this effort that you type the answer in the chat. No matter how long it takes you to type it, does not matter, right? Because I continuously keep watching or have my eye on the chat. So please do put in your feedback. Even if it takes you 2 minutes to type that particular sentence, please do that. So till now we have covered 4 rules. We'll move on to the 5th rule. Right, you have to keep this in mind. Again, this is very important. Right, words expressing nearness or place are generally changed into words expressing distance. You don't need to worry about this. Please remember that in the direct speech, your changes to there, today, that day, yesterday, day before, tomorrow will change to next day. Next week will change to following week. Next month will change to following month. Now will become then. Ago will become before. Thus will become so. Last night will become night before, or we had discussed that it could also be written as previous night. This will become that. These will become those. Come will become go. Sir, how do we remember this? Maybe we might forget this rule. See, first of all, read it couple of times. Right? That will give you an idea of how the things are changing. Second, as we say, practice makes us perfect. So more and more we practice converting direct speech to indirect speech. Right? These will be certain common things which will be used while we do the conversion activity. So more we practice, we'll get acquainted to these particular rules, but you will have to read it a couple of times and just keep it in mind that these words will change accordingly, right? Then we'll come to the 6th rule. The pronoun of the direct speech are generally changed. So basically, here we are changing the pronoun, right? If we're talking about a boy, right, I in case of a male will become he. I in case of female will become she. Please remember this. Then, let's have a look at with the help of an example. I said to Sachin, you will have to play cricket. In indirect speech, we will say, I said to Sachin that he, because see here, Sachin is denoted as you and Sachin is male. That is why you is getting converted to he. Is it clear to everyone? Teacher said to you, you are wrong. So in this case, teacher said to you that you were wrong. Right? So based on this sentence type, we'll have to use the appropriate pronoun. Again, in this case, Kapil said to me, they will win. Kapil said to me that they would win. So here there's a change in the tense. Right, so please remember these rules in relation to pronouns. You could go through these examples. Largely, I will become he in case of a male and I will become she in case of a female. And then basically, I may be converted to me based on the type in which the sentence has been drafted. Then please remember this very, very important, right? This could come in several sentences. Can will get converted to could, right? Can will get converted to could. May will get converted to might and must will get converted to had to. Is it clear to everyone? Right? Is it clear to everyone? Can will become could. Please say it along with me. Can will get converted to could, may will get converted to might and must will get converted to had to. Let us have a look at it with the help of an example. He said, I can drive a car. He said that he could drive a car. Right? I may buy a computer. He said that he might buy a computer. I must work hard. He said that he had to work hard. Please remember this rule. Right? Can will become could, may will become might and must will become had to. Then we'll go to rule number 8, which says models like would, should, ought to, might do not change. Right? If these words are there in your direct speech sentence, right, in the indirect speech sentence also these words would remain. Right? For example, he said he would apply for a visa. He said that he would apply for the visa. So basically words like would, could, should, ought to will remain same both in the direct as well as in the indirect speech. Then imperative sentences. And imperative sentences means something when there is an order, means command, or there is a request, or there is a suggestion. Right? Under those circumstances, we will see what will happen. Right? So, negative imperative sentences like don't or do not are substituted with not to. So if in the direct speech, right, if in the direct speech, if it is said don't or do not, it will become not to. Please remember first rule in indirect speech. Second, if the sentence starts with let, expressing a proposal or a suggestion, right, then said should be followed by proposed to or suggested. So let will get converted into, if it's a suggestion or a proposal, right, proposed to or suggested to. And then see, these are the things, same things which we have done in active and passive as well. So if there is an order in the reported speech, said will get converted to order. If the reported speech is about request, said will get converted to requested. If the reported speech is about advice, right, then said will get converted into advice. Please remember this. Order in case of, if the reported speech is in relation to an order, it will become ordered. If it is about request, then it will become requested. And if it is about a suggestion, right, or if it's about an advice, it will become advice, right. Said will change to ordered, requested and advice. Always keep in mind, once you read the sentence, by the tone of it, you will understand whether it's a command or an order, whether it's a request or whether it's a suggestion or an advice, and you will have to change it appropriately. Then 10th rule, which is interrogative sentences. Interrogative sentence means asking questions. Asking questions. Right? Interrogative sentences mean sentences which ask questions. Please remember, in most of the sentences, said is given. Said will get changed to asked, demanded or inquired as appropriate depending upon the nature of the sentence. So in interrogative sentences which are asking questions, you should change said to either asked. In some circumstances, you may have to use demanded or inquired as well. When the question in the reported speech begins with verbs like am, is, are, was, be, was, were, do, etc., the reporting verb is followed by if. Right? We will see in the examples as well as practical exercise as well that we will have to use if or whether, right, in those sentences. Then again, this rule is absolutely same as what we had done in the active passive. Right? If the sentence starts with what, whom, where, why, who, which, etc., the same word is used in the indirect speech as well. Right? We had seen that if it is in active, the same is there in the passive. Here also the same rule remains, that things which are starting with what, whom, where, why, who, which, these same words have to be used when we are doing it into the indirect speech. And interrogative sentences where the reporting verb is say to, etc., right, it will change to ask, asked to, etc. So this remains the same because said also changes to asked. Right? Said is basically a past tense, therefore it is changing to asked. When it is say, please remember, when the sentence which is of an interrogative nature, said will basically become asked, and say which is in the present form will become asked, and then based on what is followed by, let's say, right, you will have to use the appropriate form of ask. Then we've gone through lot of examples in this case. Again, explanatory sentences where there's an exclamation mark, right? Those sentences where there's an exclamation mark basically, which, let's say, denotes an expression. The expression could be of joy, the expression could be of sorrow, right? If it is denoted by exclamation mark, then you will have to change it accordingly. So if the mood of the direct speech is of sorrow, you will say exclaimed with sorrow or grief, or exclaimed sorrowfully or cried out. If the mood is of happiness in the reported speech, the exclamation mark will change with exclaimed with joy, or exclaimed delightfully, exclaimed joyfully. If the mood is of surprise, right, then you will say exclaimed with surprise, wonder or astonishment. We'll look at some examples. The reported said alas. Basically, alas is when we say that there is a sorrow sort of a mood, right? When it is a sad mood, we say alas. So, the reported said alas, many lives have been lost due to tsunami. The reporter exclaimed sadly or exclaimed with sorrow that many lives had been lost due to tsunami. Right? Then the 12th rule, right, when there is a greeting, right, when there is a greeting, the direct speech denotes a greeting, said will change to wish. He said to me good morning, this said will basically change to wish. Then, when there is a blessing, right, kind of a blessing in the direct speech, may God bless you, or may this, that, right, so may God will change into wish or prayed. If we look at an example, she said to her friend, may God grant you success. She prayed. So basically this said is getting converted into prayed. So basically, if it's a blessing, it will get converted into wish or prayed, and if it's a greeting, right, it will get converted into wished, right? Said will get converted into wished. So these are the rules which we have to keep in mind, right? These are the rules which we have to keep in mind when we attempt our exercise of converting direct speech into indirect speech. Now, let us come to the practical exercise, right? Let us come to the practical exercise, right? Before we move on to the practical exercise, quickly throw, let's say show thumbs up in the chat so that I know that all of you followed the various rules. If there is any question in relation to the rules which we have discussed, you can also shoot it in the chat so that we can pick it up before we start on with our practical exercise. Right, is there any questions guys in relation to these rules? If you have a question in relation to this rule, you can put it in the chat, right? We can discuss about it, right? Presently I am seeing most of you shooting in thumbs up. Okay, so if there's a question you can put it in, right? We'll start on with the practical exercise, and then if there is something I'll get back to it, right? So let us all focus on the practical exercise. It says, change the following sentences into indirect speech. So these sentences have been given in direct speech. We need to change them into indirect speech. See how we'll approach each of these sentences. Right? We'll first read the sentence, then we'll try to connect these sentences with the various rules. And as to which rule does this sentence relate to, and then we'll convert it into the direct speech. So let us start. He says Kashmir is the heaven on earth, right? He says Kashmir is the heaven on earth. So can you relate this with any of the rules that we have already seen? See, I want to do it in detail so that once we do this exercise in detail, when you are attempting to do the rest of the work on your own and practicing it on your own, you develop the habit of connecting it with the rule and then arriving at the right answer. Right, I want your feedback in the chat. Right, do we relate it with one of the rules that we have seen? See, again, some of you have said that it's a universal truth. Basically, see, normally maybe we say that in India we say that Kashmir is the heaven on the earth, but it's not a universal truth per se. The appropriate answer in this case should be that the reporting verb is in present tense. The reporting verb is in present tense, right? The reporting verb is in present tense. So what do we do if the reporting verb is in present tense? Or maybe for those of you who maybe believe it's a universal truth, will still arrive at the right conclusion, because in case of universal truth and also in case of present tense, when the reporting verb in the present tense, the answer remains the same, right? What do we have to do? If the reporting verb is in the present tense, what is the outcome, right? What is the rule if the reporting verb is in present tense? This is basically, if you will refer to your note, we are talking about rule number 4. What do we have to do? Quickly shoot in your answer in the chat. You can also put in the indirect speech for this. Okay, Anjali is saying no change while conversion. Very good. There will be no change while we are converting. What will not change, Anjali? What will not change? If you can be more specific, or if somebody could be more specific. Okay, the tense of the direct speech does not change. Very good. The tense of the direct speech does not change. So now you could, very good, the quoted word. So now if you could shoot in your answer in relation to this. Some of you have already started. Right. Khushbu is saying, he says that Kashmir lot of answers coming in. I have to scroll it down also. ठीक है. Now let's read. Khushbu says, he says that Kashmir is the heaven on earth. Right, so Kashmir is the heaven on earth will remain the same. Basically, see Khushbu, you have put in a comma after he says, right, this comma will not be there. So when we are doing it in the indirect speech, what we will say is that we will say he says, right, instead of comma, we will use this word that. Right, please remember, he says that, then same, Kashmir is the heaven on earth. He says that Kashmir is the heaven on earth. Very good, Rehan. He says that Kashmir is heaven on earth. Good, Anjali. He says that Kashmir is heaven on earth. Antik is also right. Krishi, he says Kashmir. Again, Krishi, he says that. See, you have to support it, right? That will be used in 99% of the cases. Is it clear to everyone? That has to be added. We are removing the comma and we are adding that. Great. Let's move on to the next one, right? Let's move on to the next one. The shopkeeper says prices are shooting up alarmingly. Again, tell me, which rule do we identify this sentence with? Which rule do we identify this sentence with? Very good. Reporting verb, again same as case number 1. The reporting verb is in present tense. Which is rule number 4. So again in this case, the tense of the direct speech or the reported speech will not change. So quickly draft your answer and send it in the chat. Quickly. And see, I keep on saying I want each one of you to be a participant. Please participate. Don't act as a mere spectator, and keeping quiet will not help. Right? Please put in your answers in the chat. Right, so let's see what we have reached. The shopkeeper, again Vishal, you're saying that the shopkeeper said, but in these cases we will not change it to the past tense. We will have to say the shopkeeper says. Please don't change. Neither the word say will get removed or replaced by said, nor the tense of the reported speech will change. Is it clear, Vishal? Okay, let's read. The shopkeeper says that. The moment I start reading, another answer keeps popping it in the chat, and then the chat is not visible to me. I'll just wait for a second and then I'll read it, right? Because every time I try to read it, there's a new answer in the chat. And right, Antik is saying the shopkeeper says that prices are shooting up alarmingly. Okay. The shopkeeper says that prices are shooting up alarmingly. The shopkeeper says, okay, okay. Right, so this is pretty simple, right? This is pretty simple. If you see this in exam, it's basically very easy, right? What you have to do? Just you have to do copy paste. Right, this is just a copy paste. Just to support the sentence, we'll add the word that. The shopkeeper says that. Right, the shopkeeper says that, and again there is a copy paste. Right, the shopkeeper says that prices are shooting up alarmingly. Right, let's do the next one. She said, nobody can solve the problem. She said, nobody can solve the problem. Now, do you identify this with any rule? If you could tell me. The shopkeeper said, nobody can solve the problem. The reporting verb is in past tense, that's okay, Khushbu, but then there is no specific rule relating to that. Now, Anjali had caught it. Right, in changes we had seen, na? Can changes to could, may changes to might, right? Can changes to could, may changes to might. And then there was one more. What did that rule say? Can somebody put it in the chat? Right? We had seen can changes to could, may changes to might, right? And then there was one more. Must changes to had to. Very good, Anjali. So here we have identified, see, I am just stating the rule number also, right? So that while you are revising it on your own, right, when you're revising it on your own, it could help you to locate that which rule has been applied where. So the rule number 7 basically gives out that table where we say that can will change to could, may will change to might, and basically must will change to had to, right? So let's draft this. Right, I want your answers. I am not drafting it, right? I want your answers first. Antik is saying, she said that nobody could solve the problem. Okay, she said that nobody could solve the problem. Okay. So, most of you who are responding have given the right answer. So, we will say, is it clear with everyone? She said that nobody could solve the problem. One more thing which I would like to point out. Please remember, we have done couple of conversions. That is why I am pointing it out. Please remember that the first letter after the quotes will always be capital. Like Kashmir, K is capital. Prices, P is capital. Right, nobody, N is capital. But in the first case, we said that he says that Kashmir K is capital. But in the second case, shopkeeper says that prices, we will not keep this P as a capital letter. This P will become a small cap. Clear, right? It will not remain a capital letter. Again, nobody, N is in caps. But now when we convert it into indirect speech, it will not remain a cap. So again, based on the situation, if it's a noun, right, if you have to keep it in caps, then only you will have it in caps. But otherwise, when you are converting it into the indirect speech, right, if something like nobody or prices, right, P is capital, N is capital, but in your indirect speech, you will have to write it in the small case. Is it clear with everyone? I want the thumbs up, because some of you might make this mistake in the exam and then you may end up losing marks on this. Is it clear? In the quotes, always the first letter will be a capital letter. But when you convert it into the indirect speech, please be very cautious as to whether you have to keep it in the, let's say, caps lock, or you have to keep it in the small case. Great. Let's look at the next one. Anthony said, Martin has gone home. Right? So what rule will we use here? or which tense is the sentence in, and we'll have to convert it into which tense. Anthony said Martin has gone home. Very good. Again, which tense? See, most of you are saying the answer, but then somebody is saying present perfect gets converted to past perfect, present perfect to past perfect. Okay, great. Right, so if you have a look at the chart which we had prepared, right, I am just taking you back. Right, so we are referring to this one. Very good that most of you were able to pick it up. Right, our sentence. Our sentence was Anthony said Martin has gone home. Right, so basically it's in present perfect. We need to change it to past perfect. So has will get changed to had, right? Somebody also pointed out this, Khushbu pointed it out, that hash will get converted into had. So basically, it's part of our rule number 1, right? Present perfect changes to past perfect. See, there are two ways of looking at it. Maybe you know these tenses, right? Your language, your grammar is strong and you know them. Then you will automatically identify it. But otherwise also when you are converting, right? We have been using English as a language for so many years now, right? Automatically it will come to us, right? So the conversion will be Anthony said that Martin has will get converted into had, right? Martin has will get converted into had, and then we will say right, Anthony said that Martin had gone home, right? Hope it is clear with everyone and all of you are with me, you are understanding how we are moving forward. Let's look at the next one. If it at any point, if you have a query or if you have to ask something, please feel free to put it in the chat. She said, I shall be taking test. She said, I shall be taking test. How would you convert it? Do you identify it with any rule? Very good. Shall will change to should. I don't think shall will change to should. See, first what we have identified this is that this shall is in future. This should get converted to present conditional. That's correct. Now see, try to draft it in the indirect speech. You might get the right answer. Try to draft this in the indirect speech. You will get your answer. She said, I shall be taking test. Now try to convert it into the indirect speech, right? Future into present conditional. Let's see how many of you are able to get it correct. Okay, so we are getting answers. She said that she will. Khushbu, you have said that she said that she will be taking test. Again, will becomes future. She said that she should be taking test. I want others to also shoot in their answers because I am not concurring with any of the answers that we have received till now. She said that now this I will get converted to she, right? She said that she shall be taking test. She said that she would be taking a test, right? Shall should get converted into would be. I gets converted into she and shall be will become would be. See, when you convert it into should be, that it becomes something like that this is a right course of action, that this should be done. Right? Basically it signifies an intention to do something. Whereas would be is more like that this thing will happen in future. Right? When we say I should be doing this, means that it is just an intention that it's good to do that particular thing. But then if I say that I would be doing this, it signifies an intention that this thing will be done in future. Right? So for example, if I say I should be taking test, right? It signifies that the test should be taken. Whereas if I say I would be taking a test, signifies that a test will happen in future. Is it clear with everyone? Is it clear with everyone that why we are not using should and why we are using would? Because in this case I saw most of you were using the word should instead of would. Right, great. So till now we are going good. Let's read the next one. Let's read the next one. The man said, "Is your father at home?" The man said, "Is your father at home?" First of all, which rule do we identify this sentence with? The man said, "Is your father at home?" Right, it is an interrogative sentence. Very good. It is an interrogative sentence. First, what we identify is that it is an interrogative sentence. So once we identify that it's an interrogative sentence, right, we will have to look at what are the rules relating to the interrogative sentence. The man said, we had seen that this said will get converted to ask, or if it's better in this sense, it will become asked. The man asked, "Is your father at home?" So is there any change required to this? Okay, asked or inquired. Right? You could use the word inquired as well. You could use the word inquired as well. Okay, great. So it's Sangeeta is saying that we should use the word if. Is will get replaced by if. So we have analyzed this fully, I believe. Right, I'll just go to the portion. This interrogative sentences is, I believe, part of rule number 10. We'll quickly have a look at the rule and then we'll start drafting it. Right. So basically said will change to asked, the first observation. Second, when the question in the reporting speech begins with am, is, are, was, where, were, do, does, etc. It should be followed by if or whether. So in our case, the question was, is your father at home? So is will get converted to if. Right, so these are the rules which we will apply while doing this. Now quickly put in your answers. Please redraft it or draft it rather in the indirect speech and send it in the chat. You could use this word the man asked me if your father was at home. The man asked me if your father was at home. Okay, you could say this as well, Kamal. The man asked me if my father was at home. That's also okay. The man asked if your father at home. See, the sentence construction, Antik, does not look correct when you read it. The man asked if your father at home. Or maybe while typing you missed something. The man asked if his father was at home. See, Anjali, this is sounding incorrect. The man asked if his father. So basically this sentence denotes that the person who is asking, that person is asking about his father. But here it is like I am asking you, is your father at home? Right, so your sentence completely changes the meaning of the direct speech which has been given. Is it clear with everyone? The man asked me if your father was at home. Or you could also say the man asked me if my father was at home. If I could see some thumbs up in the chat, right, I will be able to know that all of you are following. Is it clear with everyone? Or do you have any confusion or you want to ask something? Okay, let's move on to the next one. The clerk asked his manager, shall I email this letter again, sir? So again, it is an interrogative sentence, right? What else do we have to keep in mind while we are doing this? What else do we have to keep in mind while we are doing this? Very good, Vishal. See, here the clerk asked his manager, shall I email this letter again, sir? So when you are redrafting it, right, shall will become should, okay, good. Shall will become should. This should change to that, okay, very good. I will change to he. Very good. So most of the things are covered. So let us try to draft it now. So we'll say the clerk asked his manager, right? So this part remains the same. The clerk asked his manager, then we will say if. The clerk asked his manager if. This I will change to he. If he should email, this will become that. Again, right? The clerk asked his manager if he should email that letter again, right? So what all things have changed? I has become he. This has become that, and shall has become should. Right? The clerk asked his manager if he should email that letter again. Okay, so most of the answers which has come in match to what I have drafted. Great, good going. Let's move to the next one. She said, will you tell me what it means, David? So basically again it's an interrogative sentence. We'll have to look at the rules. So what all will change in this case? Said to ask. So basically this said can be asked, or it could be enquired. She asked, or it could be she enquired. What else will change? Said to ask, you will change to he. Means will change to meant. Very good. Will change to would. Great. Will changes to would, you will change to he, me will change to her, means will change to meant, okay, you to he. See, basically it will you will change to he. Okay. Great. So most of the answers which I am getting. Now you please redraft it and send it to me. You have appropriately identified what needs to change. Now if you could basically draft it and draft it and send it to me. She asked or enquired, both will do. Right, she asked or she enquired. She asked David, or you could say she asked or she enquired of David. This will sound better. She asked or she enquired of David if he would tell her what it meant. Right? She asked David that whether would, see again Antik, whether and would will not come together, right? Whether would he tell her what it meant? It becomes an incorrect sentence construction. Okay, so right, so she asked or she enquired of David if he would tell her, right? If he would tell her what it meant. Is it clear with everyone? Is it clear with everyone? The way we have changed it, is it clear with everyone? Or is there any doubt? Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the next sentence. She said to me, how have you done this sum? Again, tell me what all would change here. She said to me. Said to ask, won't it be? It will be said to asked. Okay. Then have to had, this to that. Okay. Right. I could understand that it's a typo error. Right. So again, it's an interrogative sentence. So said will change to asked or inquired. So we'll say, she asked me how I had done the sum. Said changes to ask, this changes to that, and have to had. See, basically here in this case, see how I have drafted it is, she asked me how I had done the sum. Basically done, you could say done that sum as well, right? You could say that sum as well. But it, from a sentence perspective, right? See, I'm reading it once again. right? I am reading it once again, right? Make a sense of what appears more appropriate. She asked me how I had done that sum, or she asked me how I had done the sum. What appears more appropriate to you? I am again speaking out. She asked me how I had done the sum, or she asked me how I had done that sum. What appears more appropriate to all of you? Just put it in the chat. Right, basically the will appear more appropriate because even if when you're let's say quoting it in an indirect speech, right, that does not give reference to something which the other person knows, right? When we say that thing, means we are referring to something, but the other person to whom you are, let's say, putting this forth, right, does not have any reference to that which you are quoting in your sentence. So basically, the in this case would appear more appropriate as compared to that, right? Is it clear to everyone? Uma is asking, sir, can we place I after had? Basically, what you are wanting to do is, she asked me how had I done the sum. This would also be okay. This would also be okay. But then this is more appropriate. When you read it again, right, you will get a sense that what looks more appropriate. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The policeman said to the stranger, how are you? So again, it's an interrogative sentence. Please draft it and send it to me in the chat. Please redraft it in the indirect speech and send it to me. Okay, let me read. The policeman asked the stranger how he was. The policeman asked the stranger who he was. Okay, the policeman asked the stranger who he was. Inquired. See, Kamal, if you're saying the policeman inquired the stranger who he was, then in this case it should be the policeman inquired of the stranger, right? If you're using this, if you're using the word inquired, then you should use of. The policeman inquired of the stranger who he was. If you just say the policeman inquired the stranger, the sentence construction isn't looking good. Right? So if you're using the word inquired in this case, it's better to use of after inquired. Okay, so most of you have given the right answer in the chat. So the policeman asked the stranger who he was. So basically, In this case, are in the present is becoming past and you pronoun is getting converted into he. Is this clear with everyone? Most of you gave the correct answer, so great. Let's move on. Let's do a little bit of more practice. See, these are questions from your past exam papers, right? These are past paper questions, right? The questions which had come in the CA Foundation exams, right? Let's try to do it, right? Now, I'll read it, right? You will have to put in your feedback, right? You'll have to put in your answers in the chat and then I'll give you the right answer. So this is straight away from the Institute study material. I think the first number you have already done, right? This was the last I think we did. The earlier one which we did were from the ICI material. So this one is covered. Okay, so this is also covered. The shopkeeper says prices are shooting up alarmingly. Do the third one. Suchi asked Sunil, are you interested to visit the temple? So first of all, it is an interrogative. But again, in the question itself, they have said asked. So you don't need to change. Asked will remain as asked. If it was said, then you could have converted into asked. So Suchi asked Sunil, are you interested to visit the temple? How would you redraft it? Great, correct answer. Suchi asked Sunil if he was interested to visit the temple. Suchi asked Sunil. So Anjali, Sangeeta, Suchi asked Sunil if he Vishal, if I am to read your answer, you say that Suchi asked Sunil if he is interested to visit the temple. So you are quoting the direct speech in the present tense, whereas you see the direct speech is, are you interested to visit the temple, right? So your are will change to was. Basically you need to change the tense. Is it clear? Please don't make this mistake, because along with the other rules, you have to be absolutely clear about the tense in which the sentence has been mentioned, right? The direct speech, the tense, in most of the cases, the present tense, rather more in all the cases rather, the present tense will change to the past tense. Suchi asked Sunil whether he was interested to visit the temple. Right, no problem, Uma. You can either use if or you can also use whether. No problem with it. Right, so answer to this will be see, you can write if, you can write whether as well. You will get converted to he. Are will get converted to was. Is it clear with everyone? You will get converted to he. Are will get converted to was. Right, so let's move on to the next one. Shalini gave order to her younger sister, go home immediately. Right, so these elder ones are usually bossy. So here again, we see this example. Shalini ordered to her younger sister, go home immediately. Shalini ordered her younger sister to go home immediately. Okay, Shalini ordered her younger sister to go home immediately. Right, so basically in this case, this is the rule where we had seen that if it's a command, right, then the word order should be used. They have already used the word order, which is changing into ordered. But if there was, let's say, Shalini said to her younger sister, go home immediately, you would still use the word ordered instead of said, right? So, Shalini ordered her sister to go home immediately. Great. Let's look at the next one. Pari said to me, I have been living in London since last December. Again, an interrogative sentence. Pari said to me, I have been living in London since last December. Sorry, it's not an interrogative sentence. Pari said to me, I have been living in London since last December. How would this change? Pari told me that she had been living in London since last December. Pari said to me that she had been living in London since last December. See, Vishal, it's better not to change the word which has been stated in the sentence, right? Why would you want to change last December into previous December? No need. Please don't try to, let's say, if there's something which is an additional word coming in the sentence while you're redrafting from direct to indirect, there you have a choice. But when something is directly written in the sentence, why do you want to change it, right? So please don't change last December to previous December. Just let it be how it is. Right, so the answers which I am getting, see, for those who are not typing in, right, it's highly requested that you please type in your answers. Unless you type in your answers, right, if you don't, see, if you make a mistake, I will be able to point it out and you will be able to rectify yourself. If I don't get to know your mistake, then how will I be able to rectify your mistake? Right, so basically here, this sentence is in which tense? If somebody could put it in the chat, have been living. So which tense is this sentence and to which tense do we have to change it to? Present perfect continuous. Very good. This sentence is in present perfect continuous and we'll have to change it to. We'll have to change it to. Very good. Past perfect continuous. So basically have been will change to had been. Right. So here if I am to write the answer, I will say Pari told me that she had been living in London since last December. Right, so let's move on to the next one. She said, I am watching a television show. She said, I am watching a television show. So this is pretty simple. In this case, this am will change into was, right? Present tense will change into past tense. So we'll say I will become she. So this original, if somebody could tell me in the chat, this original sentence was in which tense and to which tense have we converted it into? I am watching and we have converted into was watching. So what is the conversion? Very good. Present continuous to past continuous, right? Present continuous tense, I am watching, so something which is happening right now, right? And was watching, so something which had already happened, right? Great. Let's look at the next one. Rima said, nobody can solve the problem on the earth. I think we have already done this, na? Have we done this? Nobody could solve the problem. It's little bit, couple of words have been added. Reena said nobody can solve the problem on the earth. So if you could redraft it. So here the catch is, this can will change to could. This can will change to could. Again, Kamal, you have made this mistake. See, we had seen that table where we had seen can changes to could, may changes to might, must changes to had to. Right? So you cannot, can will not continue. Can will get converted into could. So basically, right, let's move on to the next one. He said, will you all come for the meeting? So again, it's a question mark, so it's an interrogative thing, right? So what will change? Or you just draft the answer and send it in the chat, then we'll discuss what all had changed. He asked, will you all come for the meeting? Again, Antik, this will has to change. Please remember, please be very careful about the tenses in the direct speech. Right, will get converted into would. He asked if they would all come for the meeting. He asked, will you all come for the meeting? See, they does not look appropriate in this case. He inquired of us if we would come for the meeting. Okay, looks good. He asked if everyone would come for the meeting. He asked, will you all come for the meeting? We could say he asked if everyone would come for the meeting, right? Because you all will get converted to everyone. The one which Krishi has stated is also okay. He inquired of us if we would come for the meeting. Or you could say he asked if everyone would come for the meeting. Right? Is it clear to everyone? Let's move on to the next one. He said, my mother is writing letter. He said, my mother is writing letters. Converted into the indirect speech. Okay, so most of you are giving correct feedback. Basically, is in this case will get converted to was. So basically, right, so he said that his mother is writing letters, right? He said that his mother is, is will get converted to was. Right, his mother was writing letters. Let's move to the next one. Do you suppose you know better than your own father? Jeered his angry mother. Do you suppose you know better than your own father? Jeered his angry mother. Please redraft it to indirect speech. His mother exclaimed in anger. Okay. His mother exclaimed in anger if he knew better than his father. Okay. His angry mother jeered if he supposed he knew more than his own father. Okay. Put in more responses in the chat, please. Put in more responses so that we could. It's a long sentence. I believe it will take some of you some time to type it in. I am waiting for more responses. His mother jeered. Did he know better than his father? His mother demanded angrily if he supposed he was better than his own father. It's not he was better than his father, he knew better than his father. So basically here what you could say is, his angry mother jeered and asked the son, if you want to add, if, or you could say whether as well, if or whether he supposed he knew better than his father. Right? His angry mother jeered and asked the son, right, if he supposed he knew better than his father, or you could say his angry mother jeered and asked the son whether he supposed he knew better than his father. Right? So any version is okay. From the responses which we have in the chat, right, I'll read some of the answers to give feedback whether they look appropriate or not. His angry mother jeered. Did the supposits a wrong sentence construction, Vishal? His mother exclaimed in anger. See, basically, you should not use the word exclaimed unless an explanation mark is there. Right? Something like, see, you should use exclaimed in sorrow. You use exclaim in sorrow when there's something like alas. If you say you exclaimed in joy when there is something like woe. Right? So whenever there's an exclamation mark in the direct speech, then only use the exclaimed word in the indirect speech. Don't use the word exclaimed, right, unless there's an explanation mark in the sentence. Please remember this. If there is alas, if there is bingo, if there is wow, right, something like that which is there in the sentence with an exclamation mark, then only please use exclaimed in, let's say, sorrow, joy, etc. Otherwise, please don't use it. Is it clear to everyone? Because I see some of you have written exclaimed. Then his angry mother jeered whether he is supposed to know. Uma, I am reading yours. His angry mother jeered whether he is supposed to knew better than his father. Again, it's a wrong construction of sentence. Krishi's mother demanded angrily if he supposed he knew better than his own father. See, you could edit it a little bit. You could say his angry mother demanded angrily, or his mother demanded angrily if he supposed he knew better than his father. Right? You can pick an extract from what I have drafted. Other than that, I think most of your sentences are not constructed properly. Right? Please keep this as a benchmark and try to match with this one. And I'm just again reading it out. His angry mother jeered and asked the son if he supposed he knew better than his father. Let's do the next one. Socrates said, virtue is its own reward. Please convert it into indirect speech. Socrates said, virtue is its own reward. See, this is something which, one we had done in the example, no? That something which is a universal truth, right? Like honesty is the best policy, right? It is in the same line, right? So what you need to do here is that this direct speech will remain the same. Okay, so most of you got it, most of you are doing it right. So, great. Let's move on to the next one. Socrates. See, Uma, it's better not to add. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Here you are saying Socrates advised or Socrates remarked that virtue is its own rewards. See, we can simply do with Socrates said that, right? So why do you want to give the examiner a chance to maybe deduct a mark? Maybe this, see how the papers are checked, please remember that the person who is checking your paper has an answer key from the institute, right? So if the answer key says Socrates said that virtue is its own reward, maybe the words like Socrates advised or Socrates remarked is not there as an answer key. Right, so maybe that person will not use his own mind, will try to check your answer with the answer key provided and may not give you marks. So try to keep it as simple as possible, because see, the fact is how your papers are checked. Please remember, there is an answer key which is provided to the person who is checking your paper. So more you are close to the answer key or you match exactly to that answer key, that your chances of scoring full marks are better. So try to avoid tweaking around with the words in these type of cases. Is it clear to everyone? Right? You please have to do it from the perspective of your exams. How your exams are getting checked, how your papers are getting checked. Let's go to the next one. He said the horse died in the night. Quickly do this. He said that the horse had died in the night. He said that the horse had died in the night. Okay, so the responses which are coming in are correct. Right, let's go to the next one. He said to him, please wait here till I return. Convert it into indirect speech. He said to him, please wait here till I return. He said to him, please wait here till I return. So basically, see, if you look at this sentence, this is in form of a request. Right? If you read this sentence, this is in form of a request. See, you have to be very, very alert while you are reading these type of sentences in the exam. He said to him, please. See, whenever you see the word please, right, please keep in mind that this please is request. It denotes a request. So basically in cases where it denotes a request, right, it is a rule that we use the word requested. I think some of you caught it and have mentioned requested in your answer. So basically, he requested him to wait there till he returned. See, again now the confusion is that will it be return or will it be till he returned? Basically you have to change the tense here. So how it goes is that he requested him to wait here. See, wait here will become, see, we had seen the rules, na? We had seen the rules. I'll just take you there. Here will become there. Right? Here will become there. I will become he and return will become returned. Right? So, he requested him to wait there till he returned. Okay. Very good. So, most of your answers are correct. Kamal, you omitted the word there. Antik, it should be returned, not return. Right, so good. Let's move on to the next one. Father said to his son, work hard for success. So basically, if somebody could tell me, does it fall into any special category? Does any rule apply to this? Father said to his son. Advice, very good. So when there is an advice, this said will change, na? This said will change. So father advised his son to work hard for success in life. Right. So most of you have used the word advise and your answer matches to mine. So great. So see, by this we have done several illustrations where we have converted the direct speech into indirect speech. Now the remaining portion. See, as I told you that in all our material, right? This BCK material is getting drafted beautifully and it's super exhaustive because we are covering the ICAI material entirely. We are doing it in the class. We are covering the past papers. Again, we have done all the past papers as well in the class, right? The MTPs are also there, which is mock test papers. The RTPs are also there, right? So now for the remaining portion of both active and passive, as well as, see, for active and passive, we have done the past year papers and the ICAI material. For direct, indirect also, we have done the past year papers and the ICAI material. So the RTPs and the MTPs are there for you to practice on your own. The answer key will also be there in the material itself, right? So you first solve it on your own and then match it with the answer key. And later on, if you have any problem or if you have to discuss a particular conclusion that you have arrived at, please get in touch with me so that I could explain it to you whether your conclusion is correct or we need to stick on to the answer key which has been provided, right? So the rest of the work, the questions from the revision test papers and the questions from the mock test papers are homework. You need to do it, right? Rest. Right, there's an interesting question which has come up. Right, Uma is asking that what is the difference between advised and advised? Basically, one spelling is with C and another spelling is with S. Does anybody know the answer to this, right? What's the difference between advise with C and advise with S? Very good. Basically, the one with S represents a verb. Right? The one with S denotes an action. Right? So whenever using it to denote an action, right? Whenever using it to denote an action, please use advise. ADVISE. Right, and Uma, for more detail, right, so ADVICE is a noun and ADVISE is a verb, right, and if you want to research more on it, you just do a Google search on the difference between advise with C and advise with S, you will get a detailed result on it, right, so it could help you to understand it even more better. Now, see, we are done with this topic. Now, if I am to ask you, how are your studies going on, right? If you could put in the number of hours that you are putting into studies in the chat, right? So I could get to know how much of effort each one of you is putting in, right? Put in a true number, right? Don't try to inflate or deflate it, right? Put in a true number of practically how many hours you are being able to put in, both in terms of doing the classes and in terms of self-study. Right, please put it in the chat because see, it works both ways. I'll get to know, and for people, we'll see what is the average. I want to know what is the average, right? All of us will get a sense in terms of how many hours are being clocked by each one of you, right? So please put in the number of hours that you are putting into studies these days. Yeah, long sentences you are able to put in very quickly, but one numeric digit you are not able to put in. So basically, Krishi is saying 6 to 7 hours, which is good. Uma is saying 2 hours 3 times, basically, okay, that comes to 6 hours. See, what is important is, see, rest of you also please put in the number of hours that you are putting in. See, what is required is that whatever you do in the class, it is absolutely necessary, right? This is absolutely necessary that you revise it on the same day itself. Second important thing is that now for those who are appearing in the December term, the clock has started ticking, right? And no matter how much you study, right, it will always be less. So try to put in maximum effort and try to set your goal accordingly. See, try to listen to this very carefully. See, if you try to relate this example with your studies, right? Try to relate this example with your studies. Let's say if you have to lose weight, if you join a gym and you have to lose weight, your target could be to lose 5 kg of weight, or your target could be to lose 20 kg of weight. Would the exercise and the dietary regime be the same for both the objectives or both the goals? The answer is no. There would be a different diet and exercise routine for 5 kg, and there could be a very different exercise routine for a 20 kg reduction, right? So again, if you relate it to your studies, right, the marks which you target, let's say out of 400, if I am targeting 350, or maybe I am targeting 250, the approach, the number of hours, the planning, everything has to be substantially different. So please identify a target for yourself, right? Please identify, maybe I have to cross 320, I have to cross 330. Maybe I have to go till 350 and beyond. Then the efforts which will be put, which you require to put into studies will be different as compared to somebody wanting to be around 200 to 250, right? So please identify that and plan your preparations accordingly, right? So, great. We're done with this session. We'll meet in the next session, guys. Please take care of yourselves and please keep on studying and also keep on enjoying yourself, because as we say that all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. So you have to have a good mix of, let's say, studies with things which you like to do as well, right? So see you guys. Bye.